Trees are some of the most important organisms that we have on this planet. They provide the very air that we breathe, taking up carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and producing oxygen via photosynthesis. And it's through this process that trees can help regulate the climate, storing vast amounts of carbon in what is known as a carbon sink. They play an important role in the water cycle and help prevent soil erosion. They provide habitat and food for a vast array of wildlife and provide an important economic resource as well. But have you ever wondered, how big can trees actually get? What is the tallest species on the planet? Well, how about I do you a favour and answer that question for you? Come with me on a journey across the pond where we go visit an ancient species of tree that's been around since the dinosaurs. Welcome to the Redwood Forest in Northwest California. So I'm now here in Northern California, surrounded by some of the oldest and tallest trees in the world. It's just impossible to show you how tall these trees are. Some of these trees can grow upwards of 90 meters or 300 feet for you Americans, and they're just absolutely breathtaking. They are huge. Some of these trunks can reach diameters of 3 to 6 meters, which is about 10 to 20 feet. Some of the biggest ones upwards of 30 feet in diameter. It's absolutely insane the scale these trees can reach. You genuinely cannot see the tops of these trees. That's how tall they are. I mean, just for reference, how big these trees are. This is me next to a fallen one here, and I know I'm not the biggest bloke in the world by any means, but still, this thing is huge. And I'm in an area here where there's quite a lot of old growth as well, because of course the majority of these coastal redwoods were unfortunately cut down in the 18 and 1900s. 95% of their original range has been lost. But there are efforts to restore them, and that's why I'm able to visit places like this today in Humboldt County, Northern California. It's so Jurassic. It's very prehistoric, the feeling here. You know, you've got all of these ferns down here. You know, these new growths. All of these fairy rings, they call them. The new growth of the redwoods surrounding the tree. It does feel like I've gone back in time here a little bit. You know, you can almost imagine a great sauropod coming through these forests. It's incredible. This place is simply incredible. This is definitely a forest full of giants. The tallest individual Hyperion reaches about 116 meters or 380 feet, and that he's found not far from this area. The second and third most tallest trees, Helios and Icarus, are also found around here. They're also some of the oldest trees in the world as well. Most redwoods reach about 800 to 1500 years old, and then some of the bigger ones upwards of 2000 years. I mean, look at the size of this tree. Look how big this tree is. It's a very Jurassic feeling about these forests. I mean, they have been here for over 150 million years now. Unfortunately, their range is a lot smaller than it used to be. They used to stretch across much of the northern hemisphere, from here across Eurasia. And now they're only found in this narrow band along the Californian coast. So why do these trees actually grow so tall? Well, part of the reason is their hardiness. I mean, the bark is about a foot thick in places, and that forms a protective layer around the tree, preventing things like fire and rot from getting in them. The trees also contain what's called tannins, which is a natural flame retardant, preventing the tree itself from burning really easily. These tannins as well also ward off pests and diseases and fungi. When a wildfire does come, a natural one, it clears out the forest floor, which removes any competition for the redwoods. Another reason why they're able to grow so tall. These trees also have to endure the hot, dry Californian summers when rainfall is in short supply. Coastal redwoods owe much of their extraordinary height to the frequent fog that rolls in from the Pacific Ocean. This fog provides crucial moisture during the dry summer months, condensing on their needles and dripping to the forest floor, effectively supplementing rainfall. These trees can even absorb water directly through their leaves, reducing drought stress and helping to sustain growth. Many of these redwood trees sprout these abnormal growths called burls, which act as stores of genetic information containing dormant buds. And these burls, they sprout new trees when the parent tree is damaged. So during a fire or a storm, or they fall over somehow, the tree can keep on living, which is just so impressive. How do these trees just survive anything? So fire is a massive part of the ecology of these forests. I mean, a lot of these older growth trees have lots of signs of fire scarring, and sometimes fires can actually burn the inside of the core, like this tree here, and it creates what's the settlers in these areas called goose pens. I mean, but this is a perfect shelter for me. You know, the settlers would use these goose pens to store their chickens and their geese from the elements, but the tree can actually still live even when the inside of the core is burnt out, like this tree here. And it's just an absolute testament to the longevity of these trees. So this is really cool. I found what the local people here call the ghosts of the forest. This is an albino redwood caused by a genetic mutation where the leaves don't produce any chlorophyll. So it produces these beautiful white leaves. These are really cool, and now they're actually sprouts off the parent tree. And they're actually supported by the parent tree because, of course, without chlorophyll they can't photosynthesize. So they get all of their nutrients and energy from the parent tree through the roots and the connections. And they're really cool. Now there's also some evidence to suggest that these albino redwoods do actually have a use, and they store toxic heavy metals that the parent plant wouldn't be able to store naturally. And they're really rare as well. There's only about 100 known in existence. Really cool. Now, one thing these magnificent ancient trees can't survive is, of course, us. We cut down 95% of their original range, only 5% of the old growth forest remains. And California has done a very, very good job at protecting these old growth forests that do still exist. But with climate change and wildfires becoming ever more frequent and more intense, these redwoods are as threatened as they ever been. And I think it's so important to preserve these beautiful, ancient, prehistoric forests for our future generations to enjoy. These forests are home to a huge amount of wildlife. Mountain lions, black bears, elk, those banana slugs. These redwood forests are such a biodiverse ecosystem with a variety of life, and I think it's so important that we educate ourselves and make sure we don't damage these great national parks when we come to visit them. You know, it's all about respect for the natural world. I think if we can maintain that, preserve these forests, it will be such a great thing for our future generations to enjoy. So not only was the Walking with Dinosaurs series filmed here, but also Jurassic Park: The Lost World. Because this is proper Jurassic now. You can just imagine like an Allosaurus coming through here or something. The Fern Canyon. How cool is this?
You got dirt on your mouth.
I just kissed a slug.